All right. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. And this is being filmed, so obviously I have a special guest. I don't bring any weak cupcake, fucking, what's the deal with that people on? I only bring people on that I respect and I love. And this guy is no different from... I can't even say you left that other podcast, right? From the East Coast. he had a project that he was going to promote, but you cannot promote it because of the strike.
Because we are union strong, Bill.
That's right.
We're union men.
You need to be. Dan Soder, everybody. Come on.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
When they said that you...
I like being part of a union.
It is great. It makes this, because you know why? Because you and I are similar in the fact that we feel guilty making money from being silly. We both have that.
No,
I
feel
you don't
like
feel...
if you don't have a union, we go back to the 1800s Industrial Revolution where they'll have children, which is what
they're getting close.
No, but they already did that. They just went around the unions by leaving the country.
Yeah.
By leaving the country, and then they just did the shit that they were doing in the 1800s.
Yeah, they went like...
And we don't do... Yeah, and
they drew up an old playbook, and they were like, we could take this right to Mexico.
No, it's so... Dude, it's so fucking evil.
Yeah.
It's so evil, and then they pay off the politicians so they don't say anything. Like, if you take an American company out of America and fuck all those Americans out of jobs, like, you should be paying... such ridiculous taxes that it's not worth your time. They just don't want to pay anybody, which is why the robots are coming.
It is. It's why they could have brought jobs back and made Ohio and Michigan and all those people happy, but instead they're like, no, let's just feed them 24-hour news and get them real riled up.
Yeah.
And then now they're just going to hate it. Now everyone will hate everybody, and we can just keep making our money.
I know, but everybody seems to know that, yet they still. Like, you know, I've been going on and on and on and on and on about is how everything just gets like politicized. Like, there's this stupid fucking post that keeps coming up my feed because I look at cars and shit on the internet, and it says it shows like some killer muscle car, and it says before all this electric car bullshit. We had muscle cars and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, we didn't. Muscle cars and everything, catalytic converter, the fucking gas crisis, 73, all of that shit was gone. They ignored the Mustang 2, the Dodge Opal, the Ford Fiesta, the Ford Escort, the Chevy Chevette, the Dodge K cars, all of those shit cars that at 60,000 miles, they were designed to fucking shit the bed. The speedometer went up to 85 miles an hour. What the fuck are you talking about? There was the IROC Z, the Firebird, and the Grand National. As far as American cars that I can think off the top of my head that actually had balls. Everything else was just sucked. They neutered it.
You know what it is? It's the same thought when they do that with muscle cars where they're like, oh, what America used to be with muscle cars. It's the same way when you talk to your friends that are, we're old now, where they're like, if I was in high school right now, I'd get so much pussy. Everything would go good. No, you wouldn't. You go right back to that and you'd be like, I have homework. I have all this shit. I don't like
I'm
the
insecure again.
I got the seniors that I'm scared of.
They're also acting like we're not in this simultaneously with electric cars, that we're not in this ridiculous age of horsepower. You can buy a fucking Hellcat. You can buy these AMGs, fucking BMW M's, those Audis.
I mean, there's so much power. Also, we're in 2023. Right now, we should be having fucking jetpacks. The power should be.
No, we shouldn't.
The power should be in spacesuits.
No, we shouldn't.
And hoverboards.
No, we shouldn't.
You don't think so at all?
You don't. The way people drive, you want that over your house.
I want what you've wanted, and I'm such a major fan of yours that I know. I want to thin the herd, Bill. So let's get some fucking jetpacks.
I think that's why they're not concerned about global warming.
Me too.
Because I feel like whatever they're going to do, and I don't buy that if you got the jab, man.
No.
The thing that would kill you. Why? It's like, why would they kill the sheep?
No.
We lined up and did what they said. They want to kill the others. So I love a conspiracy, but that makes no sense.
Yeah, or they're like, we got you. And you're like, I don't think you did. I think you want to keep us around. They're trying to keep the sheep around.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, they're going to have the ones that are like difficult, the people that are bringing up the difficult problems.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think they're just going to wait for the world to cook most of the people they want gone. And then they'll be like, by the way.
They're going to ride it out.
Do you think they have the technology? Now, here's the real theory. Do you think they're going to wait for a large amount of people to die and then go like, by the way, we can clean up the amount of carbon dioxide and we can cool the oceans?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's just completely sociopath. Well, I'll be dead before this happens. Let somebody else. Like, I just think that it is so corrupt and so out of control. It's like, it's like that ball in Indiana Jones. You can't just go, I'll stop.
Stop right there. And then it fucking crushes you.
It rolls over you. So
I'm excited to see what it's going to look like in the next 20 to 30 years of how they're going to divide it up and be like, fight. Is it going to be the scene from Dark Knight where they break the stick and they go like, I'm hiring one person.
Oh, I didn't see that movie, but that sounds pretty scary.
You just break a stick and there's hiring one person. The guy that walks out of this room gets to live.
Yeah, I don't have that competitive side of me. All right, good. Just fucking stab me. I had a good time.
I mean, my fiance and I are both agree.
I mean, what are you winning at that point?
Nothing. I want to be in the blast radius.
Working for those fucking people?
I want to be the people in Terminator that, when she's holding onto the fence and she turns into dust. That's me. That's why I live in New York still.
Oh.
If they drop that bomb, I'm just going to hold my fiance's hand like at the end of Fight Club and watch all the buildings.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight for survival.
New York fucking drives me up the wall where everybody thinks it's so fucking badass.
It's not badass.
It isn't.
It's a bus stop.
Hey, did you see that? There was another Instagram thing. Like I got back. I was reading. I was off Instagram. Instagram drives me up the wall.
Yeah, it does. It's designed to do that.
This New York guy. Like New Yorkers are the worst traveled people ever. They go in every city. Where are all the fucking buildings? Right? So this guy gets a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. I don't know where the fuck the guy went. The egg was shaped like a fucking hockey puck. And it's all like, try this in New York. They'd be like, yeah, fuck. And it's like, no.
No one would.
They do that in New York.
Yeah.
There's shit sandwiches and there's shit pizza. And people go, don't go there. That place sucks.
Yeah.
You want to go over here.
Yeah. We don't fight you for it.
That fucking idiot had asked somebody where to go.
The best.
Dude, it looked like an Egg McMuffin. Like, I lived in Boston 27 years. I never saw bacon, egg, and cheese look like that.
Yeah.
And he's all the whole fucking gang.
That's the whole attitude where they go like, not here. I remember this girl, dude.
They just have too many songs that are blowing them.
That's it.
Like that Alicia Keys song. New York, concrete jungle, where dreams, and the people are all just
because they can't. You know what? They should do that song with like
on their head with their dumb hat to the side,
flag bill,
like they're winning. You're living in a shoebox for like fucking $3,000 a month.
That song should have been Des Moines, affordable house that you can have a backyard, because everything else sucks. My favorite term I've ever heard making fun of New Yorkers is Joe List once called Sam Morril a city hick. He goes, he's a city hick. The way that hicks don't know how to be in big cities. He doesn't know how to be out in rural America. They don't know how to do anything outside of New York. They're not like, I want to go get a sandwich at 3 a.m. It's like, well, you can't.
I've never understood, like, it's like the whole purpose of traveling is to experience something differently. And New Yorkers are like, I came there and it wasn't exactly like where I left. What the fuck?
I dated this girl whose parents were from the Bronx years ago, and she couldn't understand that being from Colorado meant that I was from a place that had schools and roads and hospitals. She would always be like, do they have that in Colorado? It's like, you borough trash. Of course they do.
100%. And let me ask you, what has she ever achieved?
Nothing. She was, I'm surprised she was
than being born. Another thing, too, is the success of New York really, for the most part, is other people moving there.
That's the whole reason the city's great. It's because we went there. It's because we went there. It's not because you were...
George Steinbrenner was from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. You fell out of a pussy in New York. You're not special.
A guy from Cleveland, Ohio bought the Yankees.
I love it. I love it. Because that feeling of they're like, well, you're not a real New Yorker. Well, by the way,
Frank Sinatra was bridging
Hoboken.
tunnel.
He's a fucking Jersey.
He's Jersey trash.
As someone that just moved from Hoboken, we were living there, and there was this restaurant that they were like, this was Frank Sinatra's favorite restaurant. Well, it sucks ass. We got the noodles, and it sucks.
I feel bad for Frank. Every fucking place. That's like that place, that fucking pizza place up in Connecticut.
Yeah. Frank Pepe's.
When Frank used to play MSG, he would order his fucking pizza from Connecticut.
From Hartford.
And you would drive it an hour and a half down down to him and he'd be like,
pizza?
oh, what a room temperature slice.
Dude, my favorite thing in the world is watching whenever Joe Piscopo talks about playing Frank Sinatra on SNL, he does this like romantic bullshit thing where he's like, you know, I'd walk in the room and I'd say, Frank wouldn't say that. And I saw in an interview they brought up Phil Hartman's, which is the funniest Frank Sinatra. And he goes, I didn't like that. They made Frank mean. You go, Frank was mean. He was friends with the mafia. You can't be nice and be friends with the mafia. You're going to be a fucking prick. And he's like, and dude, I love that. I love that whole idea of like, Frank wouldn't do that. You're like, Frank was an old racist. Just because he let Sammy Davis Jr.
Come on, man. He was white Michael Jackson for a whole fucking generation.
Oh, my
he
God.
could do no wrong for them.
It's my favorite. Bringing that up, that Frank Sinatra was definitely a racist, is fun. And my second favorite thing is bringing up the fact that Elvis was.
Was he a racist or was he normal for when he was born? Because that's one thing I make fun of people that look at older white guys and like, can you believe what they're saying? It's like, yeah, when were they born?
Yeah.
Like what you should see as a white person is yourself if you were born in 1938. Like this is what you would have sounded like. I
will walk back the Frank Sinatra thing because he was like progressive for his time, where he's like, I'm friends with a black guy who's Jewish, and they were like, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, like 2 and 1.
Hey, what is this woke shit, see?
What are you doing, Frank? You're making all the boys uncomfortable.
You're getting all woke here.
Oh, we can't play the N-word poker. That's what we do. I like they can't do that. But the thing that you can't fight is the fact that Elvis Presley was a pedophile and that he married Priscilla when she was 14 years old. He was 20.
I think at that point you were a statutory rapist.
14? Marrying a 14-year-old?
I got one for you.
All right, bring it. I love this.
The average age of consent in this country is 16.
That's insane.
I never knew that. I thought most of it was 18.
I thought at worst.
Dude, Massachusetts is 16. I couldn't fucking believe that. I could not fucking believe that.
And just thinking about some guy going by his house being like, I'd like to take your daughter out. I know she's 16 and I'm 29.
She's only 15 and a half, and I was wondering if I could have your permission.
I was wondering if she's on
5 months and 29 days.
Does she have a dating permit? It's like a thing with like, is she learning how to date? You're like, what the fuck? It is wild. That's like old king shit, where they were like, I want a woman about to make children.
I thought it was from like back in the day when it seemed like if you worked outside, you died at 30. So you had to start early.
Where you had black lung by the time you were 22.
And like, there was like nobody around. So it's like, I saw a girl, I'm going to marry her.
And then perverts, as we got older, perverts were like, don't change that law. That's a cool law. There had to have been guys that were like, we're holding on to that.
Yeah, why? And that's another thing that I don't understand, right? As far as like all of this shit that's going on, where they're like picking apart, you know, everything that everybody says. And then meanwhile, there's all of this other stuff like going, why is that all right?
Yeah, Biden smelling a girl's hair everyone's like, this fucking weirdo.
I know, but that is fucking weird.
Dude. Well, that foggy-eyed old...
Who was it? Was it Putin who kissed the boy's belly? I mean, they're just fucking... What
Putin, after the news that's coming out today that guy that tried to go against him died in a plane crash. I think if you're in Russia, you let Putin do whatever you want. I think he's like Kim Jong-un, where he can just walk around and be like, I'm going to kiss your belly. And you're like...
Yeah, no, you have like... He has like that heart attack mist.
Yeah.
You know, you just walk by and he goes, and you're like...
no worries, he's long gone now. Just like a little problem. Problem cleared up.
All right,
Russians...
let me get back on his good side. Hell of a hockey player.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable.
What did he put up, like 13 goals against the Russian national team? I love that. They're like, he's Deke. No one can defend. That's the best. I think if you're going to be evil, go all the way. Like, American evil seems more like marketing, you know?
Does it?
Yeah, well, like the way they do evil here is they're like, I know it seems evil, but I'm accomplishing my goals. Where in Russia, they're just
That's because you're under the media umbrella of their bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and then over there, I bet a lot of people over there was like, all right, you know, he's got his moments, but you know, you're underneath the atmosphere of the information that is
what they're feeding us.
That is coming in.
So,
but the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Sure.
So we're not as good as we say, and we're not as bad as other people say. Somewhere in the middle.
I don't see a moment where Putin goes like, do you think I should have given that guy plutonium? I'm feeling pretty bad. Like, he doesn't have that moment.
I don't think they're all the same people. The ones, the higher ones.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're doing that either. Do you think it's bad that we put this person in power so we could steal all the natural resources?
You don't think they ever have that? Or they're just like, we got business done?
No, they always just go, the world is a dirty place and there's no clean way to get energy. And they just have all of those.
That's how they muck it up? Where they go like, you need energy. You
know what is funny is people who for some reason just hate electric cars and are acting like someone's saying you have to get rid of your gas combustion car. They're all talking about how the way that they get, whatever natural resources they need for the batteries.
Yeah.
And they're this is the filthy and blah, blah. And it's like,
you know what gas is, right? You know what they do with oil.
Yeah.
You know that they find oil and then they just take it. That's like there hasn't been 40 wars fought for oil. And then they're like, I don't know about this electric car shit. I don't like electric cars, though. I'm like, anytime I've driven one.
I'll be honest with you. They're amazing. They're boring.
That's what you know what it
They're
is?
Just boring. They're not fun to look at. Those Rivian things. They're kind of interesting.
Which ones are those? You got to understand.
I don't like the lights though. They look like they're wearing like bifocals.
I don't know shit about cars. That's why moving to New York was a safe bet for me because it just eliminates that whole conversation.
Oh, all right.
Because then all you got to do is mass transportation. But with electric cars, it feels like a go-kart every time, like a very powerful go-kart every time I'm in it.
Well, what's funny is my wife has one.
Yeah.
And what's funny is to have both our kids in it with groceries and her in it, and some guy has and you just blow them off the fucking line. I mean, they're insanely fast.
Yeah.
It's just.
Do you think that's the way they get the people that hate electric cars is by being like, we'll give you, like you were saying with the muscle cars?
Well, my thing was, I looked at it like, all right, all this terrorism and stuff is coming from the Middle East.
Sure.
Why do I want to send them my money?
Yeah.
So I get a Prius, thinking, okay, I'm going to get this car, and I'm doing my little part to not use as much. But then, the battery thing comes around, and then you just see it's just going to be the same game to get the electric things. And it's just like that whole thing that there's no clean way to get it is a lie.
Do you think there is?
No, what it is the people that are running shit are so fucking greedy that they can't give anybody like their fair share. They want to keep all of it. That's why it's like that way. Not because it's a confusing, blah, blah, blah. It isn't. It's the same game. It's the game that's going on in our business right now where they're acting like, there's no money and gaga as you just bought your third fucking mansion.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay anybody, and it's that disease of every year you got to earn more.
Yeah.
So
it's Bob Iger going, this is not a good time for the strike. After he signs a contract where he gets $26 million a year. And he's like, this is really hurting business.
I like at the end of the year, I've done my job so good that I've decided I'm giving myself a bonus. It's you're literally just stealing. Back in the day, the mob would skim.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they call it a bonus, and it's totally legal.
Well, what's even crazier is they have the balls now to get a bonus, and they go, I am going to pay myself like a lockdown corner in the NFL. I'm going to give my sale.
Dude, there was a guy, that True TV guy. That guy gave himself like $150 million.
Hilarious.
And
he's not hitting 400 for the Blue Jays.
The channel is tanking.
Yeah, he's not. He's got Impractical Jokers making all their money, and then he's like, yeah, you know what? Now give me that fucking A-Rod deal.
Bobby Bonilla day.
They're getting all Bobby Bonilla paychecks for just going like this. Yeah, have the guy that does street magic prank those kids.
No, that's not what they do. They go, okay, well, there's 3 people doing that. Fire 2 of them, and now you have to do all 3 of those jobs.
Dude.
I just saved this company money.
Yeah, give me all of it.
Yeah, give me all of it.
And then their kids grow up and they go like, my dad really did a good job. I wonder what those children.
No, that's what I like. Is it's totally. It's totally legal. I'll be honest with you. I find all of this stuff overwhelming and depressing, and my reaction to it, the only thing, the survival mode, is I've made my life really small. Yeah. Even like in L.A., I live like in this much of L.A. I just sit on my back porch. I stare at the trees.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, it's not on fire.
Well, you've always been one of those guys.
The water's not rising up. There's no robot at my door. Like I just, this is a good day.
The robots are far away.
This is a good day.
My land has not been breached by any enemies.
Yes.
Do you ever dream of that, about just walking completely away and buying a compound in like New Zealand?
Do you ever have that? No, I don't like a compound. I don't want to be that guy.
No, take the word compound.
You know what happens to compounds?
A ranch.
Compounds eventually get overrun.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park. Eventually, the fences break down.
Or Waco, Texas. It's like the compound thing. No one's ever made it work.
Do you ever have the fantasy of just going away? Of like, you know, the helicopter coming down on the property and you've got a big orange beard, you know, and they're like, Bill, we need you for 15 minutes of hilariousness. And you're like, I don't do that anymore.
I like being an old guy.
Yeah.
And I like talking to younger comics and helping them try to avoid shit that happened to me. I really enjoy that. I like going to a diner, getting a cup of coffee, and reading the newspaper. I like being an old fuck. It's fun. The only thing that sucks if you're old is if you're trying to be young. If you just are old, it's easy.
It's the best. I just turned 40, and I'm loving everything about it. I'm loving not being crazy insecure about everything, worrying about everything, and then just being like, this is who I am. But I would say you led the roadmap for a lot of comics to be like,
how do I bald gingers?
Yeah, but just how do I stay funny and also like not get, because I think a lot of older guys get so disconnected from comedy that you see them do stand up and you're like, oh, they're not around.
No, but I learned that by you know, the guys that were in front of me. Rich Voss, ahead of him was you know, say like Dom Irera, Chris Rock. I noticed that the guys that never stopped coming around, it's like you need to be around younger comics so you stay contemporary. But what you don't do is try to be young. Like, look at the younger comics. How are they dressing?
Yeah.
I'm obviously not doing that. I'm having my picture taken in second grade shirt. I fucking love this shirt.
Yeah, but that's also a big part about growing older in comedy is staying authentic. Because I think that's part of it when you see the guys try to dress young or talk about shit that.
No, a young crowd will like you if you be old.
Yeah.
If you tell them, like, you know, they don't want to hear you coming up to their music, you know, coming on stage to whatever the fuck they're listening.
I would love the idea.
And then it's immediately like, oh no.
Yeah. Please
tell me this is a character.
Yeah. And you're like, what's up with Tinder? And you're like, you're not even on the apps.
Dude, you know when you're on Tinder and it's just like.
I was on my Insta the other day and you're like, I think I'm going to throw up. I think I'm going to throw up. It is.
I do love Instagram.
I mean.
I still like Facebook.
Oh, man, that is the oldest shit I've heard you say in this entire conversation.
I like Facebook.
Facebook, for me, I think it's ruined for my generation because we watched it scramble our parents' brains when they got on there.
Oh.
Because my mom would send me info where she's like, can you believe this? And you're like, did you click the link and see where it was from? And she's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, just watching your mom get fooled. You're like,
oh, yeah,
I can't fucking do this. Where she's like, they said that they're doing this. You're like, Mom, if you click the link, you can tell it's not a real media outlet. And she's like, oh, I thought it was.
Why do people do things like that?
That's exactly always the thing. Why do they got to trick me?
But that's such a, you know something? That's such a great question from a good person.
By the way,
why do they have to do that?
I know it'll happen to me. I know when I'm 70, if I make it that long, and they have AI shit out there and all this like robot, I'll be like, did you see they brought back Ronald Reagan? And they're like, Grandpa, he's been dead for 50 years. And I'm like, but he's back. I saw him on the news. And they're like, that's AI. You're like, ah.
There was something when I was a kid called cryogenics.
Yeah. Did they unfreeze Walt Disney?
How do you know they didn't unfreeze? I need to see proof. Open up his back. I want to see the power strip.
My grandma's 96, and there's nothing I respect more than her being like, I'm like, Nana, what about email and stuff? She's like, get the fuck out of here. Call me. I'll read the newspaper. I'll watch the news.
Oh, yeah.
She has no new media.
I don't read an email until somebody texts me and says, look, I'll show you my phone. I have like 100,000 unchecked emails, and it has not affected my life at all.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If someone texts you or calls you, that's when you get like, oh shit.
I mean, 100,000. I mean, it's like that's Santa Claus level of fucking mail. Like, why do I have all of this fucking mail?
Lost his email for like 2 months, and I go, is everything all right? And you're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny. The idea that someone's been emailing Bill, being like, I don't know what I did to him, because you know how we take everything personally now with all this technology, where you're like, I emailed Bill. Guy never wrote me back. And then you're sitting here and you're going, 100,000. I got a kid asking for a bike from fucking 2 years ago.
No, I'll tell you this. If like texting, if the only thing that makes people text you is you texting them. Yeah. If you stop texting people within 3 days, other than your close friends and family, everybody just because once you go down the screen more than 2 of these, it's like you passed away.
I'll tell you this right now. I would even say that with phone calls. Do you have those friends that you call, and if you don't keep calling them, they don't call you?
I got rid of all of those people in my life. And then you know what's funny? They feel like victims. It's just like, dude, like I just did to you what you're doing to me.
I'm not going to name names, but people we know.
I'm going to name it now.
Yeah. But there are people that I've like been like, it's weird because if I always call him, I don't feel like
they're called narcissists.
One good friend recently, I was like, I'm gonna see how, just as like kind of like a tongue in cheek, like let me see how long it goes, and then it started to bum me out as the weeks went by, and I was like, this fucker hasn't called me.
Yeah,
and then it's just been months.
It was nothing.
And now you're like, and now I'm like, I have to talk about it with Katie. I have to be like, hey, am I getting fired up for no reason? And she's like, I would let it go. And I'm like, I felt like he was gonna call me by now.
Dude, I had a friend. I called him 90% of the time. And like I felt like 85% of the time he didn't even pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And then when the rare time when he would call me, and he would always the thing would always say, "Oh, what? You can't pick up the phone?"
Oh.
It's just like this.
You're like, what the fuck? My favorite.
What is this?
My favorite old school story was that Patrice would always invite Colin Quinn to his cookouts, and Colin would always say no. And then Patrice stopped calling him, and then Colin got upset and was like, "What the fuck? You don't invite me to your cookouts." And he was like, yeah, you don't come. He's like, I still want to be invited. I still call me. And you're like, I understand that thinking so much. Where you're like, yeah, I want you to fucking call me. I want to be in the mix.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, you're like, leave me the fuck alone.
That, you know, I'm not like antisocial, but like I don't want to do anything anymore.
Oh, I think you've done. I think that's the goal.
No, I do my stand-up and I hang out with my kids. There's nothing better than, you know, I go swimming almost every day with my kids. It's the easiest. A pool is the greatest thing you could ever have to be interactive. Like everybody's smiling. You're buoyant.
Yeah.
You're just no gravity. You're just happy.
And you're in the position where you get to toss them.
Yeah, throw them around.
Hey, and then they're
games,
coming back.
You give them a ride. You're getting a work out of it.
You could just even take a handful of change and throw it and be like, go get that. And they're like, we had the best day ever with Dad.
100%. That was my favorite thing. I said to my daughter, I go, "Do you have a good summer?" And she said, "Yeah." I go, "How many times did we go swimming this summer?" She goes, "Every day." I was like, yes.
That's the best because, you know, I now that I'm 40, I'm coming out of that whole like stay on the road. If it's Monday, go do a set. You got to work a new joke. And now I'm like, oh, I want to spend Monday through Wednesday just hanging out with my fiance and my dog.
Yeah, and watch how, and it's good for your act.
And then I go on stage and I'm like, this happened. And then you're like, oh,
I have a life.
Yeah, which I've been doing comedy 19 years. I would probably say for like 17 of them, I was just like, every night, gotta get on stage. And now
What's up with airports and hotels?
And then I'm like, you guys ever fucking not sell the amount of tickets you thought you were gonna sell? And they're like, how is this a bit? And then you're like, oh yeah, it's too inside baseball.
I'm talking about my life.
Yeah, and now I'm getting older and I'm like, hey, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at 1 a.m, give me tits. And other guys are going, yeah, me too. And you're like, all right, this is fun. I'm glad we're bonding on some shit.
When do you think we'll be able to promote our projects that neither one of us can talk about? I kept hearing that the beginning of September.
I've heard, if you want, the worst news I've heard is January.
Okay.
I've heard that like studios are prepared to go to January to fucking starve them out.
Fucking let them. Let them. And then you know what is like, I don't know. This guy, fuck them.
Yeah. There really is the fuck them attitude because you see how they're acting and you're
because
like...
what are they going to get better?
No. They're not going to be nicer.
The greatest thing is they can hold out with money that they've stolen from the people that are on strike.
Yeah. All the money they've kept, they're like, well, I got a yacht rented through October. I don't need to do anything. You guys can't afford your fucking rent.
I'll just go to Greece.
Yeah. He's like, I would love to. You know what? I'm going to follow around a European League soccer team. I'm just going to go around.
Have you picketed?
I haven't picketed yet. I felt the pull.
I picketed and I sent a truck and I got to go again. I sent a food truck.
That's nice.
That wasn't my idea because the day I picketed, they said this truck came from Snoop Dogg. I'm like, that guy just fucking knows how to live life.
Yeah, but someone did it. He was just rolling a blunt, and they're like, someone was in his ear, like the president, like, Snoop. No,
I don't buy it.
Snoop, we're gonna send tacos, and he was like this. Oh, for sure. And he just went back to rolling a blunt. I don't think he's like there, like, you know what?
He started a whole football league for kids and paid for all the uniforms.
Really?
Yeah, that guy's is a real.
Because anytime a celebrity does something, I always assume it's the "Sir, a plane has hit the tower," where they're like doing something and they go like, oh, "Okay." Like, get him out of their ear.
Oh, no.
I always assume celebrities.
Because he didn't say that he did it. I said he did it.
Yeah.
If he was out there going, you know like those people that help the homeless,
Yeah.
and they're like videotaping themselves. It's
That's
like,
my favorite. Where they're doing volunteer work as they're recording it, and you're like, this does not count.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I do feel like when I get back to New York, I'm going to picket. I want to go picket because I was sent on this LA trip, and I'm fired up now that I came out here. And
no,
I'm
due. I try to go. At least, I don't know. I try to do something.
I don't have the money to send a food truck though, so I'm just going to be handing out cheese
So just
sandwiches.
go down there and just stand there, whatever. You know what you do? Don't beep at them when you drive by, because when you pick it, it's happening every 5 seconds. Beep, 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 beep. It's like,
Dude, you said that, and I
Please,
did that. I
please.
did that last week.
Notice now.
Louis Katz and I were driving to San Diego. We drove by and there was a big, we're like, meh, 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 meh.
And nobody waved.
No, they were like, shut the fuck up.
God, stop it.
Just holding their signs. Yeah, I don't know. I would think that, I would hope it would break by the fall, but you have no idea.
Well, I will tell you this. I always knew, because they it's just they've always been this way.
Yeah.
That's why I never stopped doing stand. I also love stand up, and I had my podcast. So I always had these two things that if the shit hit the fan, like this, you got to have, you're lucky if you have something.
Yeah.
To ride this out, because dude, the one that got me was that kid who was writing on The Bear. It's a hit TV show.
Yeah, it's the hottest show right now.
And he's living below the poverty line. It's just like, can you just fucking, like, what do they have against the middle class? Like,
They hate it.
Nobody's asking. Then what I love too is then people go, well, why doesn't the star of the show fucking pay him? It's just like, that's like you go into a Home Depot and the guy in the forklift's not making any money. You're like, why don't you have the guy up at the fucking management, the thing? It's like, it's not his company.
Yeah, the guy doing the scheduling, have him kick down some money for the fucking lumberyard.
Yeah, no, it's like, why can't they just...
Did you see this with like, because you came up in the time of comedy clubs where they were criminals. The gun on the table.
What do you mean? When they
still are.
They still
but
are.
now
yes.
they have to be. But here's the thing: now that of podcasts, now because people can market themselves with social media, you can go sell out a rock club. That whole alternative thing became kind of commonplace to be like, oh well, if a club won't book me, I'll book a rock
what's
club.
What's the guy at the rock club? That guy's not going to fuck you?
But I'm saying he didn't have as much control over comedy. When you were coming up, the comedy clubs were like the dons. They were like, hey, you want to work here? Jump through all these hoops.
Yeah.
I don't think rock clubs do that. They're just like, can you provide the people? Then we'll book you. Whereas comedy clubs were like, send a tape. Now do a dance. Now turn around. And, and everyone was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden the comedy clubs, they're like, oh, these guys are playing rock clubs? We're fucked.
I mean, one time I went and I middled at the Comedy Connection in Providence.
Yeah.
And then they gave me host money. And I called the guy up. I said, I middled. And he goes, no. He goes, you co-hosted.
Oh.
I go,
just a different term.
I go, what does that mean? I go, I didn't go on stage with the host. The host brought me up, and I did
buddy to buddy.
Yeah.
You say it like you're at an awards ceremony.
Yeah.
The next comic it's Bill.
Yeah, I did 20 minutes, and they've.
But don't you feel like that's what these studio guys are doing now, where they're going like, oh, you wrote that show? Yeah, but you wrote it. We're not going to give you the stream money. That's like, it to me feels the same exact way. Of them being like, no, you co-hosted. That's the money you get.
Yeah. No, I think it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people feel like capitalism is great, but it has to be monitored. And it's just completely off the fucking rails. And we're heading towards, some of these countries that I've been to where it's you either got all the money or no money. And it's just like that's not good. What was great when I was growing up was there were a lot more unions, and there was and people could have you could literally have a regular job. You could have a factory job or drive a truck or something like that, and you could afford to have a stay-at-home wife if you wanted to.
Or you could put your kid through college. You didn't have to be
public schools were good, and that the fact that we've let in so many areas public schools go, and I don't think there's anybody on either side that doesn't want who the fuck wants to have to pay college tuition starting at 5 years old or whatever, right? Like,
it was also a way, public schools were a great way for you to be like, hey, this is what life's going to be like. You're going to deal with people from all different backgrounds and put them all in the same thing. I had a huge high school. My high school was like 3,500 kids. It's like a small college. So you show up and you're like, there were rich kids there, there were poor kids there, and you were just like figuring out about it.
We tried to give money to, like, I was just like, all right, let's just pick a public school in the area and let's help them out. And you can't do it. You have to take the money and give it to the top people, and then they decide. And
he takes off. He's like, I'll take a couple.
Oh, wherever it goes. So the only way that we've been able to, which is we're due to do it, you can give them supplies.
Sure.
So you can get like laptops, everything from pencils up to laptops, whatever they need. So, and I feel like, I like doing that every year. Like, that's something you should do rather than just sitting around bitching at it. But like, I don't know, it's kind of it's going to be interesting. Like, at what point is it ever going to happen? People are going to be like, look, we're fucking dipping into the pot too much. Like, do they have any sort of like guilt?
No, because I think it was what I was talking about earlier with Putin, where there's never the moment where he sits down and he's like, plutonium, that might have been too much. He's always just like, yeah, that's what I do. I just keep moving. They're going to keep being like, no, I'm a successful businessman. There should be like a salary cap. We should do salary caps on CEOs. We're just like, nah, you did it. You crossed the 10 billion mark. You're done. Just hold on to that. Your family's not going to need any more than that.
Listen, no, I don't have a problem with somebody making $10 billion. $10 billion, as long as they're leaving enough for like a middle class. Because most people, man, like, as far as like me getting into this business, obviously, you want to make it, but I just wanted to be able to like not have a day job and be able to pay my rent telling jokes. And it's just like, for a lot of people who are fucking, that's enough.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone wants. They just want to be able to afford their rent, be able to eat, and then have like a thing that brings them joy. I got season tickets to the Niners. I got season tickets to something, and they're like, and then I'll go to work on Monday.
I like to go fishing, or I go hunting, or whatever the hell you do.
Just have your hobby.
Yes.
And be able to live.
Like, that's out of everything that I've seen growing up, like watching that go away and then just watching people yelling about the color of ties as it's happening is kind of like, it's just like, guys, we all want the same fucking
we're all
thing
trying to be comfortable.
Yeah, and the reason, and they're just like, they're just putting us in like they fight dogs. They just got us in like the pit. And
they're great at it though. Because they're great at aiming us at each other.
Well, that's why they used to have rules on media ownership, and once they deregulated that, and then you got dead Ted Turner's view, and you have not Ralph Macchio. What's the other guy's name?
The Karate Kid. It's just pumping.
Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah,
I knew it
who's
was
Australian.
I knew it was RM.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch. My favorite fact is always that he's Australian. And he's just running the biggest pro-America news site, and you're like, it's a foreign entity.
But you can blame CNN for Fox News, because if CNN didn't do,
CNN's just as guilty. They're all guilty. All of them are shit.
CNN's the worst.
Also,
I don't like CNN because they pretend that they care.
Yeah. So does MSNBC. They go like, MSNBC's your mom coming in after your dad yells and being like, it's pretty crazy.
MSNBC.
But you don't know, in the kitchen, she was like, fucking ground his ass. Ground his ass. And then she comes
MSNBC to me is like prog rock or something. Like, I don't even like, what is that's not in 4. I can't listen to that. Like, I don't even know what channel that's on. No, like, there's never any news on. Every once in a while, my mother-in-law will come over, and she'll have like CNN on, and I'll walk in a room, and within 3 minutes, I have like a panic attack. I'm like, can you shut this? The
graphics, the noises, the way they go, like everything is always breaking news ever on CNN. You can't turn on CNN without there being breaking news.
Well, Fox is the same way, and all they do is just like blame each other, and it's like it's so fucking un-American.
So when I run for office,
all right,
I'd get destroyed. I'm capping people at 10 billion. You get 10 billion, but then anything over that, you got to kick back down to make a middle class again. And you can only have the news in the morning and at night, like when we were growing up. You can only have the nightly news and the morning news, and then stop trying to fill 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. with buzzworthy shit.
Well, I would just go back to the national news and the local news, and then the person reading it cannot show you which way they lean.
Yeah, they have to be very like
big fat tie.
Yep. And just being like,
and
today.
There's still going to be propaganda.
Sure.
But
I'm fine with, listen, as an American that loves this country, give me a little American propaganda. But it's like just a little spice. I just need a little. I don't need the whole thing. I don't need it covered in ranch. I need a little. Give me a little drizzle of ranch.
I love the city orchestra and the fireworks show.
Yeah.
And people out on boats shooting shit
Oh
up.
my God, I love old men in uniforms marching and being like, I can't sleep. And when a book drops, I shit my pants. I love that. I love that. But let's get back to like just the news being, oh, here comes the news. Here's the information, the who, what, where, and why. Not like, do you think Joe Biden naps too much? Like, probably. He can barely stand at this point.
I can't believe he's going to make another election.
They shouldn't.
I mean, it's unreal.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard. The dumbest thing I've heard is...
He's like the Yarmir Yager of politicians. It's like he's going to play another season.
You go, sit out, Jeff George. I know you still got something left in the arm, but you're throwing a lot of picks. He just shows up. He's like, it's fucking wild. It is absolutely wild. The shit that
dude, it's insane. The guy should be like just stick him on a porch somewhere.
Shane Gillis had a line that cracked me up where he goes, he's the only president you could assassinate with a punch. And you're like, that's so goddamn funny. That's so goddamn funny. He really is.
Well, lately, though, that is like, I don't know that Trump is 80 and eats McDonald's.
I love it. As a McDonald's fan, it gives me hope for the future that I could keep going on that science meat.
I know, but he's got the money to he gets them blasted, all four blasted out every 6 months. You know he does.
Just a guy with a big straw.
He probably has a zipper.
Yeah.
It's like his rib cage is Velcro. Just open it up.
And they just pull it out and they're like, there you go. Yeah. Get that out. I think the more we see with the wealth disparity, the more and more people get wealthier and wealthier. And then the easier it gets to get a gun, there's just going to be a moment where those rich people are like, did you guys notice all these poor people are strapped outside of our fucking compounds?
Nah,
do you think they'll squash it before it becomes a problem?
They have the elite weapons. Well, that's the thing, when people they talk about, the right to bear arms, in which I totally understand. But when they say that, I want to be able to fight off a tyrannical government. It's like, first of all, what are you waiting for? And then secondly, like whatever weaponry you have access to, as far as you being able to fight off the government with what the weapons they have and technology, that ship sailed somewhere around World War I. Once they put a machine gun on a plane, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, there's zero chance you're going to beat that with your fucking 9mm at your house.
Or even if you got a fully automatic weapon, it's just you. Like they got guys in fucking Arizona blowing people up on the other side of the world with fucking drones. Like, what are you gonna get at the local gun store?
Yeah, then it is funny that some dude in a whole family in Yemen's getting taken out, and then a guy in Arizona leaves his little fucking locker outside, and then goes to like a tilted kilt, and is just having pictures of beer.
I think it fucks with them.
You think so?
Well, dude, I never watch videos like that, and I'm going to, doing a run of dates in Europe, and, the comics I'm going with, they go, because they know I'm terrified of the ocean. They go, what about the Mediterranean Sea? They always say there's no sharks there. I go, there are sharks. So I Googled shark attack, and this fucking guy, man, poor kid, this Russian kid was on vacation and got eaten by a tiger shark, and like I just thought you're just going to see the tail and him just go. I mean, it was
like a movie.
It was
where they make it look. You saw him.
It was brutal.
Because in a movie they just go under and then there's.
I never watch like real death shit. Like when I remember when those people getting their heads sawed off.
I was just talking about this.
And I was just
Faces of Death and real.
And I mean, people would did you see that? I was like, no, I don't want to see that.
Do you remember when ISIS?
But anyways, getting to that, like this fucking guy. I mean, dude, this thing came in the second time it bit him. It came in right at his shoulder and just took him under like a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Fucking gone. And it was just like, I don't even know why did I even bring this up?
We're talking about fear of, we're talking about weaponry, and then we're talking about you going.
Oh, and just watching that.
Yeah.
Watching this poor kid get killed, and like, the only thing you could hope for was it was just that last bite just.
Yeah, you're hoping that did.
Like, but if you actually are killing people, Like it's just I would say it's a new form of whatever the soldiers that come back and actually face somebody and do it. It's got to be some sort of new form of PT. I always fuck
PTSD.
PTSD.
Do you think they leave? So you think they leave their crate in the middle of the desert and that like fucking thing they have them in with all the controls, and you think they leave and they're like, whew, I saw a whole village get lit
I would
up.
actually think that it would depend on what you did. Like if you were saving troops' lives, like oh my God, there's some people over here that are gonna hurt our guys, and you say to them, I think that would be a different feeling than what happens a lot is fucking up and you kill the wrong person, and then you're just like, all right, it wasn't on purpose, I was doing my job.
Yeah.
But that stuff like
as someone that's fucked up a lot at work in any job I've ever had,
well, there's a reason why we're doing this and not doing that.
Yeah, but I could see me being with a headset going like this, and they're like, all right, soldier, and launch those drones. And I go, I think it was a hospital. And they go, what? Soder. And I go, I think I just blew up a hospital. I got to take the headset off. And they're like, God damn it. That would be me. I would be the guy coming out of the thing being like, I fucked up big time. I fucking got a whole wedding. It was a wedding.
I think that they would see that in you psychologically before
they wouldn't even put me on the controls?
Yeah, before you, well, because you're there protecting our side, so they don't want some wishy-washy fucking guy.
Me go like this. Are you guys mad at me? You just fucking. I'm so worried about
sorry.
people. Guys, sorry. I think I just shot 2 missiles into a bridal party.
Yeah, no. It's that's what I think is funny too when they talk about like older people now say this generation's soft. It's like they've been fighting a war. I don't think they're soft. I think every generation has some soft people, but like a lot of the homeless population. We're really talking deep shit here. A lot of the homeless population out here is like it's like it's
wild.
Veterans and stuff. And what's wild for me is that the experience now of being like a veteran. It's like you enlist.
Yeah.
You get brought out halftime at a football game, get a standing ovation, and then you serve.
Yeah.
Come back with all the problems. You end up homeless, and then the same people that gave you a standing ovation 18 months earlier are driving by going, "Get a job, you fucking piece of shit."
I had a line. I was joking around about that. I had a line in a bit where I was like, oh, so there's a guy on the street like, I liberated Fallujah and now you won't let me inside. And people were like, ooh, every time I would say that. And you're like, but that's just the truth.
Right.
You got all these guys
coming. You know what they say out here? Those are our sidewalks. It's like, it's their sidewalks too. And there's nobody uses the sidewalks out here.
No one walks anywhere
Yeah,
out
we
here.
drive everywhere we go. Let them, where the fuck are they going to go?
Guy sleeping in a tent made out of garbage bags on a 100-degree day. Inside of that, and we're like, no. But you're right. Halftime of a bowl game.
You're not suffering enough. Keep it moving.
Yeah, it is wild to me that we have no real great programs for soldiers to come home to and be like, we have better programs for prisoners to get out of jail than we do for vets to come home and be like, you dealing with some stuff? Put them out there. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
This is one of the most.
All right, we can't end the podcast.
No, this is depressing as fuck.
We got to talk about some good shit.
I was good. Yeah.
We got a lot of new football stadiums and baseball stadiums.
Stuff's good. There's a lot of tastes being made. Do you ever have Chipotle Ranch? It's incredible.
That's great.
By the way, we do have to.
The smash burger movement, juicy on the inside, crispy on the outside.
How did you guys when your daughters when your kids have kids and they're like, Grandpa, how'd you deal with it? You're like, well, I had never had a zesty jalapeno taste before or endless Coca-Cola. That was pretty sweet. The shit we have to distract us is the best shit ever.
I mean, it's pretty
It's
wild.
the fucking coolest.
It's pretty wild.
It's the cool having a pool anywhere. Remember when like only one person you knew had a pool, or like
you were rich.
A person that knew a person you knew had a pool, and you'd be like, "Can we get over there?"
Yeah.
And now people are like, "We can build that. We can build that in a week."
You know what's funny too is when I was a kid, like you just moved into a house and you said eventually we're going to redo that hideous room, and you never did.
No.
But now people the whole thing has to be redone to their exact.
That's because there's 50 shows on television about how we can blow that wall out while making an open space.
I don't like that backsplash. Like I didn't even know that word just came into my life.
Dude, I remember my stepdad was the most handy guy ever. He built my mom a 1970 MGB in our garage. Just built it.
Wow.
Just with the body. Went and got all the
Was
parts.
it the one with the back door?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw one of those today.
Yeah.
I just saw one of those.
It was fucking phenomenal. He built her.
That hatchback
where
thing
you
that would
pull it.
open up.
Yeah.
That was
And
cool.
he built it. He got the body and then built it. He was like the most handy guy. I never sat in the garage with him. I was always like, I'm going to watch wrestling. And he's like, all right, I'm going to build stuff. I should have done that. But I remember we moved into this house and my mom was like, oh, I want a garden. It's like one of those things. And this is the 90s where it was like, well, then do it yourself. And my stepdad was like, I'll build you one. And like, I watched him put in a sprinkler system and all this shit. And I was like, how do you know to do this? He's like, this is it. And now if you buy a house, you're like, I'm not moving in until the garden's built. Have someone go build me a garden. And you're like, you can just do it like that. It was my stepdad. I think that caused their divorce. So it was like, that was a big enough garden to be like, was that worth it, Mom? Rushing
that
Nick
caused
off?
a divorce.
Well,
He
just
was
started
out there working.
bitching at each other, all this stuff. And he's like, I built you a garden. That was always like the thing. I built you a goddamn 1970 MGB. And my mom's like, it's not enough.
That's the male version of, I gave you children.
That's exactly it. And I watched it, and I remember being a little kid watching it, being like, he's got a point. That guy put a lot of time into that garden.
Well, I mean, it's the comedy of being a married guy.
Yeah, I'm about to enter that moment.
Yeah, it's it's definitely worth it. But the water definitely flows. Look, once every 15 years we get a tropical storm out here. The rest of the time,
it's just the water. You know which way the water goes. That's fucking hilarious. That's possibly the best advice I've gotten for being engaged. Is you're just like, just know which way the water goes.
Yeah.
And occasionally, you get your day.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything new, but it is what it is. It's definitely worth it. Having kids is fucking awesome and all that type of stuff, but the water flows.
I'm going to get that fucking tattooed on my arm. So next time I'm in the kitchen yelling something, I'll be like, okay, no, I got it. Yeah, you're right. Why did I do that? I'm going to save myself a weekend of pain.
No, the only way to beat it, you can't argue the river. What you can do is if you quietly accept the river starts to feel a little bad about what it's doing. And then it checks in with you. Is everything okay?
This is the Bruce Lee be water speech for guys getting married. Be water. Just flow. Just don't push against it. Just be like,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you go along with it. And then when you get a little don't argue. You just get quiet. When you get quiet, then they start thinking like, all right, I've been pushing a little too hard.
That's so funny.
That's all it is. But if you face it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Then it's like, it rages over.
Undertow.
Dude,
they find your body down in San Diego.
The next time I'm going to start an argument or whatever, I'm just going to, the one word of undertow is going to come into my head and be like, no, just go with the flow. Be like, yeah, you're right. And just quiet. Just float. Just back float. Let the water take you.
Yes. They know you're doing shit you don't want to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're just cool, then they'll just keep doing it. But every once in a while, if you just get quiet.
Then they're like, hey.
Yeah, like.
Or they come and sit down next to you.
How
and
you
they go
doing?
like,
You're just like, good.
I'm all right.
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Is everything all right? It's fine.
I have to hide
Then that fucks with them. So then they got to be like, wow.
How are you?
You don't seem like you're fine. I think I used to do a bit about that. Yeah, you don't seem like you're fine.
They give you the little forearm thing next on the couch. They go, what are you doing?
Is there a game on or something today?
Yeah, maybe.
You're a guy. You like games.
Maybe later. And they're like, do you want to just hang out today? It's like, yeah. Oh, dude, that's fucking hilarious. I'm absolutely taking that advice.
Yeah.
Don't get ripped into the undertow.
Yeah, and then what you do in the meantime is, you go out and get coffee with them, you take them to the movies and stuff, so you keep it alive. There's a bad thing. Don't start drifting.
Yeah.
Don't start drifting because you'll get to a point where you can't come back together, and then you got to go out and fucking find somebody new, and then these fucking idiot guys I love these guys that get divorced and then get married again. I get getting divorced. You were out.
Yeah.
And then you go back in like it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Like the water's going to flow the other way. It's not. The water goes one way.
Yeah. Bill, this undertow understands
this river's going to be different. No, it's not.
I think that was probably the most positive thing we've said on this podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
It's good relationship advice.
Well, I'll say here's something positive: is people wouldn't know this about me, but I do like people, and I like listening to different points of view, and I don't care if you're conservative or if you're liberal, and I don't think that's a bad thing. No. And I think that it's funny that like liberals call you're a centrist, like it's bad. It's like, yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I am.
You know what I'm doing? I'm hearing both points.
Yes, I hear both sides, and then whatever sounds good to me, I go with. Because I know that nobody is right 100% of the time, you fucking lunatic.
And it's also the thing you said where they're always hiding. It's poker. They have poker faces on, so you don't know what they're actually thinking.
Yeah.
I hope we get back to the point where it was like back in the day where no one talked about religion or politics. They're just like, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. And you're like, let's just keep it that way.
Exactly. Don't bring that up. We still shouldn't do that in public.
Yeah, I love that. I love where I'm like, I don't know what
I got another positive one.
Yeah.
Another about Dairy Queen.
The best.
Dairy Queen's still around.
The best. The Blizzard. It's fought through McFlurries. It's fought through all these imitators.
Baseball helmets.
Yeah,
I like the black and white soft serve one.
Yeah, that's what.
You know, racial harmony.
I look at that coming together.
Look at it coming together
you know
for
what I like?
Nice, tasty treat.
I like when they put the spoon in and they show you.
Yeah,
look at that.
It's fantastic.
It holds, and you're like,
exactly. One of the worst things that happened to me in America. I think I was in Portland, Oregon, and I ordered some mint chocolate chip, and they told me it wasn't in season. It was in San Francisco.
That's what?
I went across the street to the drugstore where all the old people were, and guess what they had? Gallons of lime green.
Lime green
mint chocolate chip.
I don't want your fucking white chocolate chip.
What is this shit?
I want it green. I want it Incredible Hulk green.
Yes, I'm an American. I will have mint chocolate chip any fucking day of the month.
And for all you people that say it tastes like toothpaste, well, fuck you. Maybe I like that taste.
It did.
Mint chocolate chip fucking rules.
It does rule.
Yeah, you fired me up. I'm going to go get Dairy Queen.
I might stop by there after this.
Get a Blizzard.
All right. Well, it was fun not promoting all the cool things you had coming out.
I honestly have listened to this podcast for fucking 12 years, however long you've been doing it. And when you said yes, I was like, this is unbelievable. It was unbelievable to me. Yeah, man.
I've been having a lot of guests lately. I'm trying to get back to not doing it.
Yeah.
So, and I think
I hope I fucking, drove that point home.
This was such a positive conversation.
Yeah.
No, I do like having guests, especially because I don't see you a lot.
Yeah.
You being on the East, in New York City where everything's fucking
what is this,
how
a
big
coffee?
this fucking can
Why can't I
is.
get Starbucks at 2 a.m? You can in New York. No, you can't. No, you fucking can't.
There's plenty of bad pizza and bad bagels in New York. They're all living off the reputation. You need to talk to a New Yorker that tells you where the fuck to go.
By the way,
why would Boston be any different? Of course you can get a bad bacon, egg, and cheese there. You can also get a great one if you ask somebody, you dumb fuck.
It's called having local knowledge.
Yes.
Also, I trust the New Yorkers that grew up there, have left, and came back and still celebrate it. Because you're like, all right, you've understood that there's other things in the world. They're not the cocky ones. It's the ones that have never left.
Yeah, they're dumb.
Okay.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, everybody. This has been the podcast. Thank you to Dan Soder. Check him out on the road. Check out all his shit that he can't promote. And have a great weekend, you cunts. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, August 31st. 2015, August 31st, as far as I know, it's the last day of fucking summer. Maybe it isn't. Maybe some of you consider Labor Day. Maybe some of you are those traditionalists where you can't wear white after Labor Day. Well, tell it to that whore that was on that thing last night that fucking doesn't show videos anymore. I am, of course, talking about the MTV Music Awards, which I got to be honest with you, I didn't even know that they were on. I had no idea. My wife knew, and she put them on. And I remember one point they were in the background. They were showing the old MTV logo, and it was changing all colors and stuff. And I always get sad when I see it. Like, what happened? What happened in that? Where the fuck did they get off? And I know I'm the 1 millionth person to say this, but where the fuck did they get off? Why do they have a video music awards when they don't show any music videos? You know what I mean? Do I have
I don't know. Do I host a fucking show about not being a cunt? That would be just as hypocritical, right? By the way, could that chick be trying any fucking harder? Good Lord. We get it. Those dumbass outfits. You know, every fucking outfit looking like you're going to go fuck Captain Kirk. It's so... Go back and look at some of the truly shocking shit that people did way back. I thought, you know who fucking freaked me out a long time ago was Marilyn Manson. The first time that guy came out and he sang The Beautiful People, and he was, I don't know what the fuck he was wearing. It was something, I think it was that thing that women wore back in the day when they try to make their waists really small. Is that a corset? He had that and like his fucking awful ass hanging out. And he had like these contact lenses that made him look like a husky. I was just like, what the fuck is that? You know, running around out there like jailbait with your fucking tongue hanging out and now you're legal. And I was in the other room, right? And, you know, my wife has some family in town, so she and some of the ladies were in there watching it. And so the fucking Captain Kirk's one night stand there. What the fuck is her name? I want to keep saying Lady Gaga. I know it's not that. It's not Taylor Swift. That's 2 out of 3, though. Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus. So she's in there singing this fucking song over and over again about how she doesn't give a fuck. And I felt bad for her. You know what I mean? Because, you know, with the music game, it's like you're popular for a while, and then it just fucking starts to go down, and then maybe you get one more hit, and then you're fucking finished. And then for the rest of your life, you got to sing those songs. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Why do you think Billy Joel drinks so much? He's got to sing the same fucking 20 songs for 40 years. I mean, the fact that that man is still standing is a testament to his inner strength. If I had to do the same fucking jokes for 20 years, 40 years, you're going back to fucking, I didn't want to do jokes I did fucking 4 years ago. There's no way. These poor people. And this poor woman, Miley Cyrus, is going to have to sing about how she doesn't give a fuck when she's in her 50s and 60s. You know what I mean? And she's painted herself into a corner wearing those Star Trek outfits. No, she hasn't. If I was her manager, I'd say, listen, at some point, you got to put your tongue away and put some goddamn clothes on, or, you know, I'm going to leave right around when you're about 32, 33, because I'm not going to watch this fucking train wreck. Like, what's her face? Madonna. I mean, Madonna's pushing 60, and she still has to go out there in fishnets, rubbering a clam, because that's what got her there. You know what I mean? I mean, she should be, I mean, she's a mom. Somebody's mom. She has, like, grown-up kids. She's still trying to hide behind that, well, I'm trying to break down the boundaries of what you picture when you picture a 58-year-old woman. Yeah, you're really not. It's just like growing up and having a little bit of class and admitting that, you know, those days are behind you and enjoying your kids, right? That's what I would think. You run around. Wait a minute. I mean, an old rock star is still running around grabbing their dicks. I know, God knows Billy Idol is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this one. I have no idea, but you really got to... I would think if I was a musician, which I'm clearly not, in the back of my head, as much as I had to be present and who the fuck I was when I was writing songs, there would be something that's going like, hey, you know, if this is a giant hit, I'm going to have to sing this in a casino when I'm 60. You know what I mean? She's going to be 60 years old going, yeah, smoke weed. I don't give a fuck, right? Fucking jelly rolls hanging out of that fucking outfit. I don't know. The fuck do I know? All you got to do, maybe just give it a funny intro. All right, this next song I wrote when I was 21. Within the first half of line of lyrics, you're going to realize it. Forgive me as I roll my eyes when I sing this fucking thing. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. That's going to come back to haunt you. I worry about that, about ever becoming a fucking parent, is some of the bits that I've done coming back and blowing back in my face. You know what I mean? I just hey, I was an idiot and kind of still am, but legally you have to do what I say within reason. Sorry. Would you like some Fruit Loops? I don't know how you do it. You know what it is? I don't give a shit about any of those things, those fucking video awards. You know what it really is? I just wish that MTV still played music so I could stay up on it rather than just knowing who like the 5 pop stars are. You know what I mean? Like, how many times are they going to keep going back to Taylor Swift and Kanye West? It's just like, is there anybody new? Kanye West, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, fucking that chick there with the booty. The fuck is her name? She's always arguing with people on Twitter. I just had it. Nicki Minaj. Those same 4 people have been on every that same award show for like 10 years at this point. I see that show like once every 3 fucking years. It's the same goddamn people. Even Justin Timberlake went home at some point. Like, guys, they don't show videos anymore. It's fucking over. Right? I don't know. What the fuck do I know? Anyways, this is the Monday Morning Podcast. I'm running my yap here. And, dude, this is the last day of August. And which means, obviously, tomorrow is September 1st. In September, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is the greatest fucking month of the year and starts the greatest 4 months of the year. It's football season. Baseball is hurtling towards the fucking hurtling or hurling? Cruising. We'll pick a word I can use. Cruising towards the playoffs. Hockey and hoops start up. Right? You got Thanksgiving, which is the shit. And then you got Christmas, which is awesome if you married the right person. Or you're not in jail. Right? I always heard the holidays are rough when you're fucking locked down. If anybody's listening to this somehow in jail. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry about that. I hope you're innocent. No, I don't hope you're innocent. I hope you did it. Jesus Christ, you're going to be sit there eating that fucking slop. Anyways. I wonder if they actually have a reprieve in prison during the holidays. You know what I mean? But for one day, everyone can just walk around the yard and act like it's like Central Park, the idealistic version of Central Park, where you can just sort of skip around with birds like you're in a Walt Disney movie, without the anti-Semitism of Walt. Oh, Walt. They're not all bad. How many times do you think they said that to him as he was drawing Pluto? Anyways. So my big plans for this week, aside from this is the final fucking week of my diet to get down to the weight that I want to be at, Thursday afternoon, I'm going to a cigar bar. And I say Thursday afternoon because the games come on early out here. And I'm going to watch the beginning of the Michigan Wolverines turning their football program around. Huh? Making the Ohio State-Michigan game an actual factor again for the first time in 15 years. Jim Harbaugh, I'm telling you, if you guys got to, if you didn't look at it already, just Google a picture, Jim Harbaugh, first pitch, Detroit Tigers. Just look at that. That guy is a fucking animal. He's a maniac. He's such a psycho. Grown men at the professional level couldn't handle him anymore in San Francisco. And now he's going to Michigan, where they don't make any money, at least legally, right? They got to do what the fuck he says. I'm telling you, within 2 years, this guy's going to turn this thing around. I think they're going to make major leaps. I'm hoping they are. And all of a sudden, that song will be able to be sung with pride again. Come on, Buckeye fans, sing it with me, huh? Hail to the victors, valiant, hail to the victors, valiant, hail, hail to Michigan, the something and something. You know, I think the number one reason why Ohio State hates Michigan is because they don't have as good a fight song. Nobody knows what the fight song is for Ohio State. They don't. As much as Woody Hayes jumped up and down and had a temper tantrum, nobody gave a fuck about that song. I don't know why. There's like 3 songs that everybody knows. They know that one, and then they know, Jesus loves us fucking best. And then the USC Trojans, which is the worst. I feel like I could have wrote that song. Dude, they play that song. The number one reason why I fucking hate USC is, when I was younger, I was a Notre Dame fan. Then somewhere around Lou Holtz, I've talked about this before. Sometime around Lou Holtz, when he was holier than thou, and go, yeah, you listen to your parents, say your prayers, all that dumb shit, and he was just like trying to claim that they weren't doing steroids, yet they were just as big as teams that were doing steroids. It's just that classic religious God loves us best, touchdown Jesus horseshit. Once I got older, it started to annoy me. But when they got really bad, I don't want to see that happen. The same way I hated watching Michigan get really bad, I would hate to see that happen to Ohio State. And I'm one of those weird people because I lived in Massachusetts. I like Ohio State and Michigan, which makes no fucking sense. But I like both of them, and I want them to both be great and kick the shit out of each other in November. Is that asking too much? I don't think it is. But getting back to USC, those motherfuckers play that song, which isn't a bad song. It's just they pummel you with it. It's like a fucking Beyonce song by the end of the first quarter. It's like, I got it. This song has been released. What if I pay 99 cents and download it on the iTunes? Can you stop playing it at least for 8 fucking seconds? Those stupid cunts at USC, okay, they play that song they break the huddle and they play it. Like that was some accomplishment. Hey, they're all on the same page and they're going to try to execute this play. It drives me up the fucking wall. Like whenever I watch a USC game, I just have my thumb on the mute button. And I swear to God, by the end of it, I have like, is it possible to have carpal tunnel in your thumb? Or whatever the fucking tendon is in my forearm. It's a little sore there, right? And then when I watch the late game, I got my forearm in Ben Gay. And I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So anyways, this is... So I had my weigh-in yesterday. I'm actually doing this podcast Monday morning. I've been doing them Sunday nights recently. But so I had my weigh-in yesterday. I had to get down to 165 after a loss last week. And the question was old Billy fucking Flabby Tits going to be 6... Wait, I mean, let's see. I don't know what the fuck my record is. I know I had 2 losses. All right, first week I went down to 183, then down to 180. Then I had a loss. Then 177, 174, 171. Then I had a loss. Then, no, I won that one. Then I lost the next week. All right, so this week would be to see if I'd be 5-3 or 6-2. 5-3. The season's starting to slip away. Is there trouble in Freckletown? I had to get down to $165, and God damn it, I got on the scale, and I was, drum roll, 165.0. Made it. I made it. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to go fucking skip rope for a couple of rounds to drop some water weight, to make weight. And my buddy goes, dude, that's cheating. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's not fucking cheating. All right? You negative cunt. It's not fucking cheating. Fighters do that all the time to make weight. All I'm trying to do is make weight. And I've weighed myself throughout all of this right after I worked out. That is when I've weighed myself. So that is consistent. Now, I know that I weigh a couple more pounds over that, maybe even 3 more pounds over that. All right? But this is working for me. So shut your fucking pie hole. So this is the deal. When I get down to $162 next week, which is the weight I want it to be, so I'll be 162 after my workout. All right? Now, what most people do at that point, they go, hey, I made it. Now I'm going to have a cheeseburger and fries and become a fucking addict again. Sugar, salt, right? Doing that shit. What I'm going to then do is I'm going to start weighing myself after lunch, seeing what that number is, and then I'll get down to 162, weighing myself after lunch every day. So there you go. I'm doing it in baby steps. Go fuck yourself. I'm an old man. So anyways, yeah, I'm psyched. I knew if I talked about this shit on the podcast, I would have done it. Because if I didn't, if I was just doing it on my own, and I didn't have you guys hypothetically in my fucking ear giving me shit that I'm a loser because I didn't make it, I probably would have stopped around $1.72. Hey, I'm looking pretty good. Hey, think I could have a fucking cookie? But this morning, today's like technically my day off. So on my day off, I still go do something because I'm at that age. If I take a day off, I'm still fucked. Even if I eat well, I don't understand it. I have to do something. So every fourth day, my day off, right? I do chest and tries. I do the fucking pull-ups and all that shit the next day. And then the next day, I do legs. And then on my day off, I have to do something. Go for a walk or whatever. But lately, I've been riding a bike. And so I'm riding up through the fucking hills out here. And I'm fucking dying. Right? I'm standing up in first, like the easiest gear. And I'm probably in like gear 6. You know, you got 1, 2, and 3 as far as level difficulty. I'm on 1, and I think I'm on gear 4, and I'm standing up like, every fucking, pedal that I'm doing, right? Every revolution. And then I'm hearing this guy coming right up behind me, and I'm just going, fuck this. Here comes one of these fucking guys just going to fucking blow by me. And this dude, I thought it was going to be somebody in their 20s. Maybe early 30s, this fucking old man with his old legs, with the elasticity and his legs gone, fucking blows by me. Blows by me, still sitting in his seat on the bicycle. Didn't even say hello. He just went right by me. I'm not even joking. I know that sounds like a hacky fucking joke. I swear to God. And then within 2 turns, I couldn't see him anymore. He was gone. And I was looking all the way up the hill, and I just see this fucking little guy all the way up the hill. I was riding through the canyons there, and I'm looking all the way up the hill going, that's not him. And I'm trying to look like between that guy, whoever the fuck that guy is, and me as we're going around the turn. And it turned out it was him. He just fucking absolutely smoked me. But whatever, what are you going to do? But what's been motivating me to ride the bike every fourth day? It was Verzi. Verzi going, dude, getting a bike at your... no, that's the biggest fucking waste of money. That's in my head every time I look at the bike. I'm like, I got to fucking put 100 miles on that bike by the end of this year. Because Verzi is coming out this year, I believe. He's going to go to the Rose Bowl with us. So at some point when I'm hammered, I'm going to have to say it to him, Verzi, not for fucking nothing. Not for nothing. I put 100 miles on that bicycle. Huh? Look at this. Look at that fucking stomach. Flat. All right. What kills me is I'm basically at a weight where I used to have abs and I don't anymore. Because once you get the fucking stomach, you're done. And I've been watching all these videos on how to get the fucking last. Right now I have I have the quintessential cunt belly. Like you could you could fucking put me. I'm going to warn you right now. This is going to be such a horrific visual, but I got to do it. You could put me in a pair of ladies' bikini bottoms, right? And just take a picture of my belly hanging over them and nothing else, and you would think it was a chick. I'd be like, oh, that's adorable. I wonder how old her toddler is. I have a little bit of baby fat here. I got a baby bump. It's almost worse than my beer belly. The beer belly was really masculine. You know what I mean? I was becoming a big fucking teddy bear. Like, women love when their guy's a little fat. They love that shit. No other women are going to be looking at him. They don't have to be intimidated that he's looking at her in a certain fucking way because, he's over there crushing it on the elliptical. They like it. They like when you're fucking dope. That's like my wife. She will not give me a fucking compliment. I swear to God. I swear to God. They say you go out and you end up marrying somebody just like your mom. My mom was like that. My mom, I swear to God, never gave out compliments, ever. And I was thinking, Nia, she's so fucking positive. She's this force. Her personality is incredible. But whenever I'm fucking doing something, I learned something on the drums, I go up and crush it as a comic or whatever. Never. Not a fucking peep. Not a peep. She says it to her friends. I hear her compliments to me through her fucking friends. That's how I hear it. So the whole time, right, I'm sitting there, as I'm dropping the weight, I'm going, check it out. I'm looking good, right? Am I looking good? She'd be like, yeah, you're looking good. I'm like, come on, man. How many times dropped like fucking 6 pounds? She's like, Bill, I said you look good. Jesus Christ. Like, that's the best I would get out of her. And I'm such an insecure asshole. I keep coming back, like looking for this parental approval from her. I gotta get past that. That's what I've learned throughout all of this. I know I look good. I don't need her. Anyways, what the fuck am I talking about here? 21 minutes in. Jesus Christ. It's time for a little bit of advertising here. So that's the deal, dude. So I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I like to make weight this week because I fucked up so bad the previous week. I got on the scale and I was 165.8, and then I went in the garage and I finished my workout, and then just to make doubly sure, I skipped rope for 6 rounds. Just pouring sweat, and then I came back in and I got on the scale and I was like 163 point something, which I know is bullshit. I'm probably about, honestly, after lunch walking around, I'm probably like 167, 168. But I made weight, so go fuck yourself. That's a victory, all right? You can't get me. I won it on a technicality. This isn't some Belichick cheating. It was more Jim Irsay, in that I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Can't believe it. Can't fucking wait. I love September. I love the end. I'm one of those people. I love the end of the year and the beginning of the year. It's these middle fucking months here that drive me fucking nuts with the summer heat. I love the beginning of the year where it's like, oh man, fucking a whole year. Clean slate. What are we going to try to fucking fix? What are we going to try to get better at? All that type of shit. What do I want to do? Right? And then I love the end of the year, because it's just like, man, I'm so happy to have these people in my life, man. And it's football. It's fucking great. It's really, I think it's just August. I fucking hate August. I don't hate it. It's just too fucking hot living out here in the desert. All right, let's get to the fucking, let's get to the things here. Oh, by the way, I'm supposed to read this here. Oh, hey, please, I got to thank everybody who bought Court McCown's comedy album. People who didn't get it can get it at www.allthingscomedy.com. The podcast network for the people. Oh, and by the way, next week we have some old friends are returning. Some old friends are going to be returning to the advertising portion of the program. You might, how can I tease it? They are a game of skill. Wink, wink. And we're happy to have them back. They're good sports about it. All right. So, I will respect their copy as much as I can. All right. There you go. Quick advertising. Me running my yap every fucking week. Just read the copy, Bill, you dumb cunt. All right, let's keep moving here. So anyways, what a fucking week. What a fucking sports week. Tennis fans, or even non-tennis fans, U.S. Open starts this week. Starts today, actually. And after reading that Andre Agassi book, I feel like I can watch it much better than I used to watch it. You know what? It's funny. I used to sit there. I used to get tired when I used to love watching women's tennis, aside from the fact that they were hot, running around with their fucking little skirts on there. It was only the best 2 out of 3. So I could sit there and watch the whole fucking thing. The men's set, when it would go 5 fucking sets, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, this is, 3-4 hours. And now that I've actually read Agassi's book, because I'm such a self-involved douchebag, I never sat there and wondered, like, wait a minute. Like a football game takes 3 hours. Baseball game takes 3 hours. But you don't get the ball every fucking play. These guys are like running backs, running the ball for 3 to 4 hours. I don't think I ever fully appreciated the physical condition that you have to be in to play that game. So I'm really excited to watch it this year. Even like the earlier rounds or whatever. Now that I can't recommend that book enough, and I feel like I've recommended it so much I'm starting to annoy you guys, so I'm going to get off the subject. I watched a little baseball this week. I actually watched a Yankees-Braves game. I keep missing the games where they're scoring like 20 runs, and then they have like the fucking outfielder come in to pitch. But I got to tell you, man, I am envious of what the Yankees have done, man. Like, they kept their 2 number 1 prospects, that kid Burr, and then their pitcher. I got to watch that kid, 21 years old, man, fucking crushing it on the mound. And then some guy in the broadcast booth goes, you know, this is not what they used to do. They used to always try to buy it and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, no, they've done this before. When George Steinbrenner got suspended, because he got suspended, they ended up not trading away Posada. I don't think they ever would have traded away Jeter. But Jeter, Bernie Williams, Andy Pettitte, Jorge Posada, and Mariano Rivera. If George Steinbrenner did not get suspended, there's no fucking way he wouldn't have traded away at least 3 of those. And one of them would have, I bet he would have traded away Mariano Rivera. Because at first they had him pitching like, 7th and 8th innings or whatever. He wasn't a fucking starter. He would have tossed him. He definitely would have got rid of Andy Pettitte. Christ, he did it anyways. Bernie Williams, he would have probably got impatient with, or Jorge Posada, he would have just tossed in there. He would have made some dumb move like that. So, I don't know. I just feel like the way Tampa is doing it and the way Kansas City is doing it, I think was always the way to do it. It's still the way to do it. I just think what the Yankees did and then the Red Sox, doing it too, and a couple other teams, I mean, you're just not successful when you do it for the most part. And then you've blown $180 to $200 million. Look at us. How much fucking money did we spend? We had 12 and a half games out of first. Just walling around in the fucking cellar. So, I mean, I don't hate the Yankees the way I used to. It's over. We won 3 World Series. I mean, the fucking movie ended when we came back in 2004 and won the World Series. It was over. You know what I mean? I'll always not like them, but they don't have that fucking thing that they can hold over us anymore. But despite that, I'll always, not like the Yankees. But I always respect the team when they do something the right way. So I'm kind of psyched that they're in it, and Kansas City is fucking crushing it, because some of my the most favorite baseball I ever watched was those late 70s, early 80s, back before they had the wild card, and it was for the American League pennant, the ALCS, those Yankees, Kansas City ones. And Kansas City could never beat the fucking Yankees. And then they finally did in 1980, and I was so goddamn psyched because we could never beat them. And then, of course, they lost to the Phillies in the World Series. But one horrific call 5 years later, they beat the Cardinals. Anyways, plowing ahead here. I saw a really annoying ad on the side of a bus today as I was ending my bike ride. It was this thing on the side of a bus about wearing condoms. And it was 2 guys and then a woman in the middle. And she was both telling them to have some willpower and use a condom. And once again, with all the bitching out there about all the sexist fucking shit out there. I guess maybe that's sexist because, like, what? You were going to have a threesome with these 2 guys? So maybe I guess women could bitch on that level. But as a guy, I'm sitting there looking at it, thinking about all the women that I got with, like, how many times, right? The moment of truth, and you go to reach for the condom. Have you been with a woman who would go, oh, God, I hate condoms? Would just sort of whisper that, and literally you'd feel like that fucking in your fucking stomach and your heart at the same time. Like, yeah, I think I'm putting on 2. Think I'm putting on 2 over there. Unless, of course, you were drunk. You'd be like, yeah, I hate them too. I have no idea where it just cut out. I moved my fucking... God damn it. I moved my computer. Fortunately, I only talked for a couple of seconds there. I was talking about that condom ad. I don't know where the fuck I left you at here. I was just thinking, how funny would it be if they actually... How long would that ad last if they put a woman there and in that ad and the guy's reaching for the condom and the woman said, oh, God, I hate condoms. You could never have it. They would be flipping the fuck out. Oh, by the way, I watched I watched a little bit of the Christ, who the hell was playing? The Raiders. What a fucking uniform, by the way. I'm saying right now, that's the best uniform in sports. Best uniform, silver and black. Come on, man, you can't fuck with that. I swear to God, now that Al Davis is gone, if any douche comes along and fucks with that emblem or those colors, you know, I felt bad for Raider fans as they were holding those signs up once again. Stay in Oakland. You know what I mean? Why do they put those fans through that shit? You know what I mean? Fucking babies, man. You started in Oakland. They love you. Why don't you pony up and fucking give a little bit of money towards your own fucking stadium, you asshole, instead of holding your fan base hostage like that? So ridiculous what the fuck they put those fans through, you know? Anyways, every 20 years, yeah, we're going to leave. Go fuck yourselves. So I'm watching it, and they're playing the Cardinals, and they were showing the first female coach, then the first female referee, and then, you know, I'm watching Fox, and they had ladies' night where they had the women all, you know, anchors and all that type of stuff. And now that women are, and then, you know, they're down on the fucking field bugging the coaches as they're running into the locker room. I'm going to say, just as a male football fan, now that you guys have completely infiltrated the fucking league, you're basically at all levels. I know you're still going to, well, we're not an owner, or whatever. You're going to keep complaining all the way up to the top. Can you do me a favor? Just do me this favor. Can you not ruin it? Can you do that? Can you not ruin it the way you fucking ruin? You've ruined every guys only thing, whether it was sexist or not. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck that you're in the league. I don't give a fuck that you're coaching, that you're reffing. I don't give a fuck if you own a fucking team. I don't give a fuck. Just don't ruin it. Okay? Fucking learn how to roll with the joke. Learn how to just be one of the... Learn how to be fucking cool. Just fucking do that. That's all I ask. Don't fucking ruin it. Okay? Every 10 fucking seconds complaining. You know what I mean? About how your feelings got hurt. All right? Just fucking learn how to laugh at yourself and be one of the guys. And I mean that figuratively. I don't mean that like in any sexist fucking way. Just don't fucking ruin it. Oh, Jesus. What are the fucking odds? What are the odds that they're not going to ruin it? You know what I mean? And turn it into... I swear to God, my biggest fear is within 10 years, the combination of all the women that they're now going to add into the league, which they're not doing because they like women. They're doing it because of the Ray Rice thing. They got to turn it around. That's how bad. Roger Goodell fucked up so bad with that Ray Rice thing. Only suspending that guy for 4 fucking games out of the gate when he knocked his fiancée out and dragged her down the hall like a fucking caveman. He fucked that thing up so goddamn bad. Do you realize that within one football season, he fucking suspends Tom Brady for 4 games for absolutely nothing, and there's the first female head coach. Coach. Oh, he fucked that thing up so bad that this is the way he had to overcompensate so he could keep his $40 million a year job. So anyways, yeah. Just don't be like, just please, for the love of God. You know that broad that makes everything about herself? Don't be that fucking person, all right? Just please don't fucking do that. My biggest fear is that within 10 fucking years, with all this, you know, talk about concussions and all that, and all the women that they're going to now, you know, the floodgates are open, they're going to add into the league. My biggest fear is that, like, within 10 years, they're going to be playing 2-hand touch or flag football, and it's just going to be over. It's just going to be over. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just don't ruin it. Can you not do that? I like even like out here, like in some fucking like. I remember a long time ago, like in the writers' room of this one show, right? They were on like the fucking 8th season, and they're sitting around trying to come up with storylines for characters that they've written for well over 100 episodes. At that point, you're out of ideas. That's usually when you have a character get married, they have a baby, the cousin comes to town like Oliver. The Brady Bunch, they did so many episodes. They had like 9 characters on that show. 3 boys, 3 girls, mom and dad, and Alice. And then Alice had to get a boyfriend, and it just kept going and going and going. They became a music group. They went to Hawaii. They went to the Grand Canyon. And when they were finally out of fucking ideas, this fucking kid, Oliver, the 7th kid, the 10th character, shows up. Who the fuck was he? They did one whole episode that was about an entirely different family that adopted a white kid, a black kid, and an Asian kid. Like, they were just out of fucking ideas. So anyways, this show that I'm not going to name, they're in the writer's room. They're 8-9 seasons in, and they're at that point where they got to go to Hawaii or they got to go to the Grand Canyon or add Oliver. So they're sitting around trying to come up with new storylines. So one of the writers, as a joke, suggests that one of the characters rapes the other character and blah, 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 which is totally over the top and fucking absurd. And there was a woman in the writer's room, and she fucking sued. You know what I mean? Like, he's making light of... Is he really? Jesus, you're really going to sit there and take that literally in a comedy writing room? That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's my big fear, is that's going to happen. It's like, no, any sort of ball breaking will have to be done within. Like, I'm just picturing guys in the locker room having to look over their shoulder before they make some stupid fucking joke. You know? Just imagine Ken Stabler whispering a joke in a locker room. Can you even picture that? That's what I'm worried about. It's going to ruin it. It's going to definitely have an impact. In a good way, but also a negative way. I just don't understand, like, and I'm truly asking this. I'm not saying this as like, maybe you guys think I'm a fucking pig here. I'm just asking, is there anything guys can just have that can just be guys only that won't be considered like some sort of Illuminati sexist fucking thing that's holding women down? Is there a place where guys can just hang out and not have to look over their shoulder and worry about offending somebody? You know what I mean? Where is our brunch? That's what's going to end up happening. Guys are going to have to start going to brunch. You know? And then what's going to happen is if they have a guys-only brunch, it's going to annoy women on some level, and eventually they're going to have to go there. Just because we say that they can't. It's fucking unreal. They have all women gyms. I don't give a fuck. I don't try to show up there in my Speedos going, oh, I should be able to use an elliptical in here too. You know? I mean, I don't know. And I'm also saying this too as a worker bee. I don't run any company, by the way. Before you get all Jesus Christ. What are you going to do? Anyways, let's plow ahead here. Ladies, just don't fucking ruin it, okay? Please don't do that. Like you ruined titty bars. I used to do a bit about that. You know, women just started going to titty bars, and then they would look over at you and be like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I was like, yeah, because you're here. Leave, and it'll get fucking crazy again. Everybody's on their best behavior because mom's here. All right, let's plow ahead here. Donald Trump. All right, Bill. People are getting seriously worried about Trump. I see very liberal friends of mine making posts yearning people to not mention his name because it'll just perpetuate what they believe would be the downfall of the country. I get that he's a bit out there, but even if he did get elected, how bad could it be? I'm sure some of your listeners are like my paranoid friends. Should they be worried? Should they be worried that an absolute dope would be in the White House? How did you like George W. Bush? How did you like that guy? Did you enjoy when he was in the office? When you had a guy who couldn't couldn't get through a sentence without stuttering? I mean, he sounded like me. That was a bit I used to do. I used to say, I like George W. Bush. You know why? He makes me feel like I could be president too. That's literally what I felt like. I was like, I went to summer school with this guy. Like, the president shouldn't give a guy like me hope. You know what I mean? That's all that I'm saying. And I have to be honest with you. the simplistic way that this guy talks about major things, like just bombing people in the Middle East, and the way he talks about Mexicans and stuff like that, there's something about him that he's very cartoonish. So I think it's very easy to think that that he isn't like a bad thing. But that thing there where he told that guy from the Latino guy who's a citizen of the country, and when they're escorting him out, that fucking white guy goes, "Get out of my country." What kind of an adult says that? Get out of my country? Like it's his sandbox? I mean, it's not necessarily Trump. It's the kind of people that gravitate towards that guy. And as much as I've loved his honesty, let's forget about all the racist shit the guy has said. Even if he wasn't racist, like, he doesn't have the intellect for that job. You know what I mean? I mean, you're talking about, the guy fucking, he hosts a reality show. As much as he runs around talking about this empire he has, I don't buy it. It's like, if he truly had all the money he had and truly had all the success he had, would he really have time to decide if fucking Sheena Easton or Lindsay Davenport is going to make us better CEO for this company that doesn't even fucking exist? You know what I mean? The one thing I will say is I've loved his honesty and that he sticks to what the fuck he's going to say. And I hope it encourages more politicians to be honest. But at the end of the day, you have to have somebody in there that has the pedigree. I mean, come on, dude. Like, look at Donald Trump, dude. Okay, just imagine him. He's somebody in the NFL draft as a quarterback. All right? Can this guy make all the throws? How's his footwork? Is he patting the ball? If his number one receiver is covered, is he really going to have the calmness in his head when he's standing in the pocket and it's closing in to check down to receivers 2, 3, and 4? I don't think he is. I don't think he's presidential material. But the fact that the kinds of people that he's stirring up, like racists, people who say, "Get out of my country," he's kind of making Pat Buchanan look like John Denver. So I don't think you're. I think you're underreacting as much as your friends are overreacting. I don't think any one person has the ability to be the downfall of the country. Obviously, he doesn't have that level of power. And I actually think if he did get elected, that both Republicans and Democrats would resent him, and I don't think that they would work with him the same way if somebody from one of the third parties got elected. They just wouldn't work with them because it would be great for their own argument that if you elect a guy from this party or if you elect a guy like this, see, he can't get anything done. And they would act like a bunch of babies, Republicans and Democrats, because it's really not about doing what's right for American people. It's about winning. That's all they give a fuck about. It's the same way why I won't watch any, like a debate on CNN or Fox or any of those shows. Even like Bill Maher's show, Real Time, which is kind of outside of that shit. So much of watching that, when you listen to people argue, they're not listening to the other person. They're thinking about their next point, and they just want to win. And I don't know. I find all of that shit like it gives me a headache. You know, it's kind of like I don't know. Like my fucking wife watches those goddamn reality shows all the time. You know, come home and it's just like 10 women screaming at each other, right? And then it's bad enough she watches that show. Then she watches the show with that dude there, whatever his fucking name is, and then it's like they do the recap of the series, and then that fucking guy, he just brings up all the bad shit that they said about each other and stirs them up all over again. And it's like, why the fuck would I want to sit here and listen to 10 women screaming at each other? For the life of me, I'll never understand why my wife watches that shit, you know? Of all the shit out there that, making women look bad, like those fucking shows where they're just walking around with their fucking horseshoes, like they're going down to the club and they're still 21 trying to get a boyfriend, and they're in their 50s. It's like, when are you going to grow up? Get yourself some flats. Give your toes a break for the last 30 years of your life, you know? All right, passion for cars. Dear Bill, my dad has an older Porsche 911. He's currently restoring and hopes to pass it on to me someday. Wow, man, your dad's fucking cool. He goes, I don't exactly share the same passion or knowledge of... That's the worst. Are you rebelling against your dad? He goes, I don't exactly share the same passion for or knowledge for cars, especially when it comes to Porsches. He takes a lot of pride in the work he puts into it. I'm the same way with my hobbies. Can you make his passion for classic cars relatable to a guy who is perfectly content driving an 04 Hyundai Elantra? Can you describe what it's like to what goes through your mind when you look at a classic car, the feelings and the emotions? Jesus Christ, dude, can you give me more of a difficult task? You don't have a passion for it. What goes through my mind? It's not even what goes, it's a feeling. When you're looking at a piece of art. Like, I think cars right through this. I was talking to Rogan about that. Rogan was fucking hilarious. The other night I saw him at the Comedy Store, and Joe Rogan said that American cars, they made the best looking cars right up through the 1960s, and then turned on a dime. And from like the mid-70s on, made the ugliest fucking cars ever for 10 or 15 years, barring a couple, 2 or 3. So what I consider classic cars are early 70s all the way back. And then there's a few cars from like the 80s that remind me oh, my buddy had one of those and we got shit-faced and stuff like that. I can tell you this, now that I got my truck, 68 F100 all fixed up, rebuilt engine, new exhaust system, all the lights on it work, except for the interior light when I open the door. The radio light works, the brakes work, fucking starts right up. When I'm driving down the street and I'm running through the gears, shifting on the column, I got my arm hanging out the window, it's not a describable feeling. You either love that or you don't. And I was sitting the other night at a red light, listening to my truck idling, and I am hard-pressed to think of a better sound that I've ever heard. When you're just sitting at a light, it's going... and you're running through the fucking... It's just the greatest... You either have that in your blood or you don't. And the fact that your dad is into Porsches, I always felt that the people who are into the European stuff, specifically the performance cars, like the guys that I've run into that are into them are usually, I'm not trying to shit on Americans here, but they're highly intelligent and, just like the car, refined. And there's what I would do, I would read up on those cars. I'd read up on Formula One racing. I read this great book called The Limit. I just don't think you're going to be into it, but it kind of talks about Formula One racing at its peak when somebody died every other race, and it talks about the Italians, the Germans, and the English racing teams of that time. I don't know. Watch some old movies. Was it Steve McQueen or was it Paul Newman that did the Le Mans movie? I want to say it was Steve McQueen. I don't know. You're either into it or you're not. There's cars out there that I just look at why did they stop making this design? I swear to God, the two-door sedan, like those GTOs, the Ford Galaxies, the Pontiacs, the Buicks, the two-door fucking sedans that they had, those with the long trunks, they were the meanest looking fucking sedans. They were just the baddest looking fucking cars. I just look at them what the fuck? Why the fuck would you stop making that? I mean, I learned on the Seinfeld shows about safety that all the cars today, like the car that you drive, if I looked at that real quick, I can't tell the difference between that and a fucking Lexus or they all look like dinner rolls to me. Before you give up on it, I would say actually go rent a classic car. Do you understand how the whole thing works, how the engine works and all that? Once you learn how that works, the brilliance of it, and then if you just read up on racing and all the stuff that they do just to try to get another 100th of a second, maybe that'll light the fire. But I don't think I can help you. If you don't have a problem driving an 04 Hyundai Elantra, I don't think there's any, And you know what? To be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're not into it, I'm not going to sit there and force my passion onto you. But I will say, if your dad ever wants to hang out, let me know. Because I'd love to see that car. All right, sunglasses. Dear Bill, my wife told me I look stupid in aviators because I'm 34 years old and not in high school. Ah, God, they're just the fucking worst. Can you imagine if you ever said that to her? Hey, you look bad in spaghetti straps. You're not fucking 21 anymore. I mean, how long before she'd even remotely consider fucking you again? Anyways, he goes, I'm not going to send you a picture, but I really don't look bad in them. They don't look too flashy, and I never once heard anyone say anything when I've been wearing them so long that it blew my mind that it was something that bothered her. What? The fuck kind of sentence is that? They don't look too flashy, and I never once heard anyone say anything. Period. Oh, you're not using capitals. This helps me. I've been wearing them so long that it blew my mind that it was something that bothered her. I think she doesn't like that they are youthful, and she sees me in pictures in college wearing them and assumes that I put them on. I'm going to start boozing during the day and banging soft sixes. Those days are behind me. She's being insecure, right? Yeah, she's being an asshole. She's being an asshole. Dude, aviators are great. There's nothing wrong with them. They're cool sunglasses, and you look cool in them. It'd be one thing if you were wearing, like, Z Cavaricis or, I don't know, something else that's out of style that I can't really think of at this moment. But, no, she's being an asshole. She's being insecure. Look, dude, if you were out of shape and you were still wearing a tank top and you had grandmother arms, she's looking out for you. You know what I mean? But I'd have to see them. Are they old? But it's not like aviators ever fell off, really. They're classic sunglasses. I think you should still wear them. And I think there is a thing that when you're in a relationship, if you're not careful, there's a part of you that can say something that comes from a place that isn't positive. It could come from a place of like insecurity or resentment. I would guess you probably look cool in them. You're driving down the street and maybe that bothers her. I have no idea, but I mean, that's pretty pedestrian. A pair of aviators, I mean, that's like a pair of blue jeans. I mean, those things are timeless. I don't know what her problem is. What does she want you to wear? Those fucking old people wraparound glasses? So she can feel okay that you're not going down to the fucking fruit store and banging the chick behind the counter? I don't know. Yeah, fuck her. I'd still wear the glasses. I'd just say, listen, I like them. I like them. And, I don't make fun of your sports bras. What is that supposed to mean? All right, computer. Hey, Bill, I don't own a computer anymore. Some people downgrade their phones. Ari Shafir did so, and he said he's loving not having all the distractions of a phone in his pocket. I went the other way. I'm here to tell you that it is an absolute pain in the ass. I know you've never suggested not owning a computer at all, but boy, oh boy, do I wish I had a shitty computer as opposed to no computer. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have gotten rid of my phone. When I read on my laptop... What? When I read on my laptop, it's usually informative stuff. My question is, do you think you could go without a computer or a smartphone? Assuming you would record in a podcast studio and Nia could handle anything you really needed. I could definitely downgrade my phone. I could definitely do that. And I'm definitely an addict when it comes to that type of stuff. Looking at my phone. I wish I never went from a flip phone to a smartphone. I wish I never did that. I will tell you, now that I'm doing a show, writing this show, and there's new drafts and that type of stuff that's constantly being emailed to me and everything, and or somebody just emailed some notes. People communicate through email, so if I couldn't get emails on my phone, I'd have to kind of be walking around. So I think at this point, I'm kind of married to it in a way. I mean, I guess I could do the phone thing, but a computer, I couldn't do that. No, I love going on the internet, and any thought I had, I can look up information on it. I love having that. I just don't like I don't like having to download new operating systems that fill up my computer and make my computer that totally worked fine all of a sudden obsolete. And I know part of that is progress, but I think that a lot of it is pushing the herd towards having to get rid of these things that, who's kidding who? Anything that you throw out, unless it's biodegradable, which a computer certainly isn't, it really hurts the environment. And I think, I don't like being a part of that. But I'm in the herd, man. When the herd stampedes, I kind of got to run with it. I guess I could not do the phone thing. I could definitely do that. I've done shit before. In the late 90s, a couple times, I got rid of cable and that type of thing. And it was pretty cool. And I had an amazing amount of free time. But I got to tell you, dude, I fucking miss sports like you wouldn't believe. But I don't know. As I've gotten older, I watch a lot less TV. But maybe that's because I got replaced by being on the computer a lot more. I don't fucking know. Anyways, pool or vacation home? Bill, simple question. My wife and I are debating the pros and cons of having a pool installed versus buying a home up in Maine. They're actually not far in cost by the time you dig through all the rock in my New Hampshire backyard. What are your thoughts here? I know you don't have a pool, so maybe you could tell me what you would do. I'd buy the house. I'd buy the house because that's going to increase in value, I would think, more so than the pool. And you live in New Hampshire. And even with global warming, how many months out of the year can you use the pool? You can't rent out your pool and earn money off of it. You can't, in a pinch, just sell off your pool to save your house. Up in Maine, you could. I would say buy the house in Maine, and then with the money that you're earning by renting that out up in Maine, I would fucking use that money towards home improvements in your place in New Hampshire, like having a pool. There you go. Oh, there you go. There's your financial tips from a stand-up comedian. Why would you listen to me when it comes to that shit? All right, that's the podcast for this week, everybody. Oh man, I got to say the name of this fucking drummer that this person sent to me. Jesus Christ. I got to tell you something, dude. I've been taking these lessons, right? And I am seeing like such a fucking improvement in my playing. And I was really feeling great about it. And then all of a sudden, obviously I know I'm not a professional drummer, but your hobby, you want to get better at it. It's fucking makes you feel good, right? And then somebody sent me this fucking video. I got to make sure. Lee Pearson, this drummer, dude. And this guy, this fucking solo this guy does, you would have thought a guy was playing. He was going in the crowd going nuts like they were listening to a guitar solo. And I'm sorry, guitar soloists, you know the fucking deal. On those big shows, if you just fucking take your guitar, right, and you just go bang, and look at the crowd, they all go, and they just do that fucking shit. Drums, everybody goes to the fucking bathroom during the drum solo, or a lot of people do, right? This fucking guy had him going nuts, like he was up there playing Eruption on guitar, man. So I'm gonna actually put this video up. I'm gonna have that video that somebody sent me on Twitter, which I really appreciate. I hope I'm saying his last name right, Lee Pearson. Jesus Christ, what a fucking beast on drums. And then also, I've talked before, you guys know I love Italians, right? You got to know that at this point. And I love their food and all. So I am a closet Italian when it comes to, a lot of shit. And so when I get through this whole diet thing, I've always wanted to try making like a Sunday gravy, which is basically you just pick 3-4 meats that you want to brown up in a pan. You make some fucking meatballs, then you throw it all in a fucking tomato sauce and you slow cook it. And then you make some pasta, and then you just fucking, it's just, dude, they throw like fucking spare ribs in there, meatballs, sweet Italian sausage, and then crazier shit like Anthony Bourdain had like fucking oxtail and like them more traditional lower grade meats in there that you have to cook a long time, really slow to get the flavor and get them to like be tender. I can't wait to fucking do that. So, but there's this guy, I sent the video to Verzi. It's fucking hilarious. Well, first of all, I'll let you know the YouTube video, it opens with one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my fucking life. But when you watch this fucking guy, this Italian guy go into the grocery store, you have to see the look on his face when he's getting his ingredients. The look on his face, like Germans have had less serious looks on their faces trying to win world wars. And this guy's just picking out fucking garlic. And like he's fucking like the look of intensity. I was crying laughing. And this is why my appreciation of Italians is being German, mostly German and Irish, Scottish. I got English, Dutch, French, and all that. But I'm mostly, German, Irish. And the complete lack of giving a fuck when it comes to the food. Watching like Italians, how much they give a shit. I'm crying laughing because it just, I don't know, it's so comical compared to what I'm used to, where if everything was fucking boiled, salt and pepper, and you just turned it on high and cooked the shit out of it. Now I know that there was some good Irish cuisine and German cuisine before I got to listen to all your fucking bitch moaning and complaining. But don't even try to remotely act that there's any dish in Scotland, Ireland, England, the Netherlands, Germany. I can't say France because they have some good food. But all those other countries, there's not one. All of your best dishes combined can't fuck with just a fucking bowl of pasta and some sauce in Italy. You know it's true. I know it's true. So I'm watching this guy making this fucking thing, and it's a bunch of older guys, and I love old guys with their corny fucking jokes. Like one of them, he was making some marriage joke. He goes, when you get married, there's the 3 rings. There's the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. And they're all fucking loud. I love old guy corny fucking jokes. And he's having his buddies over. And he makes this unbelievable fucking meal, and they all sit down eating it. And then they all talk about, like, this reminds me of my mother's cooking. This is as good as my mother's. And, like, that's like the highest level compliment. The whole fucking thing is just awesome. And you got to watch this video. And it doesn't even look that difficult as far as, like, the ingredients aren't that difficult. It's, of course, all about the way that you season it. And the guy's catchphrases as he's doing it, he just keeps looking at the camera. He goes, blah, 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 and that's all the flavor. And then he looks at the camera. He's like, how you doing? And he does it like 50 times. It's funny the first 7 times, and then it starts getting old. And then he just keeps doing it so many fucking times that it literally becomes funny again. I don't know. It just made me want to, I got to go to Italy, at least go to Little Italy, something. Anyways, that's a podcast for this week. Can I say anyways? Any more times? That's the podcast for this week. Thank you guys for listening. Hey, don't sleep on that Michigan-Utah game on Thursday. Utah's going to come out and try to break fucking Michigan's heart and be like, no, it's going to be more of the same. And I know there's a lot of people that come from pro football cities that don't watch college football. You got to get into it, man. Just pick an SEC team. I always watch LSU Tigers, and I'm going to try to watch some Auburn games this year too. I'm so fucking psyched. So fucking psyched. And in the middle of all that, as football's going on, the pennant races are getting tighter, and you got 2 weeks of the U.S. Open, the last major of the year. Okay, if you're bitching this time of year, I can't fucking help you. I can't help you. Go hang out with that dude who can't appreciate the classic cars. Why did I take a dig at you? I'm sure you're into something else that I'm not into. You probably like those, those X-Men movies. I'm such a cunt. All right, go fuck yourselves. I'll talk to you next week.